Zeal Education Society, redefining excellence.
Welcome back. So far in previous 7 videos or 7 lectures, we have covered the theoretical aspect of digital control system. Here onwards we will enter in the analysis mode. For the discrete time system, if you want to go for the analysis, then Z transform is the tool which can be used effectively. From today onwards, we will start the concept of Z transform with reference to control system applications, then its properties. We will solve few numerical examples, then we will go for inverse Z transform, and we will proceed further for the application of Z transform for the discrete time control system. So let us start with the Z transform. For the discrete time signal x of k, if we apply Z transform, we get x of z, and in this case k we know, k is the discrete time index, but what is z? Z is a complex variable. And which covers a z plane. It will have some plane which is called as z plane. We will come to that later on. And this x of z can be obtained from x of k as summation k equal to minus infinity to infinity x of k z raised to minus k. Particularly, this is called as bilateral or two-sided Z transform. Why it is called as bilateral or two-sided? Because you can see here that limit of k is from minus infinity to plus infinity. So it covers the negative time index as well as positive time index. So in case of signal processing applications, this is useful. But now our perspective to learn Z transform is with reference to control system applications. In control system, the important aspect is that system or signal must be causal. Now, for causal sequences, what we can say, this x of k is equal to 0 or it is absent for k less than 0. Now in this definition, if x of k is 0 for k less than 0, this product will also be 0 for k less than 0. So no need to include those samples in the summation, and then it results into k equal to 0 to infinity x of k z raised to minus k, and this is called as unilateral or single sided or one sided Z transform. So throughout the course, we will use the unilateral Z transform. We will see its properties, we will see its transform and its application. Now, what I need to make clear, I will make here a note. There are some important factors. Like for example, this x of z is the Z transform of x of k. So x of z is a function in z. But the important aspect is that number one, the Z transform x of z cannot be expressed without its region of convergence, that is ROC. Now what is ROC? ROC is the region of Z where x of z exists. Means in ROC or for the particular ROC, x of z is not equal to infinity. Now next point is, in bilateral Z transform, multiple sequences with different ROC can have same x of z function. So signals are more than one, but with different ROCs they may have same x of z, and that is why hence in bilateral Z transform, mentioning ROC is compulsory. Now what happens in case of unilateral? In case of unilateral Z transform, there is uniqueness. Of x of z, and hence though ROC exists, you are exempted from mentioning it. So even if you don't mention ROC, in case of unilateral Z transform, it will do, because there is uniqueness. For one x of k, there will be corresponding one x of z, and for that one x of z, there will be only one x of k. X of k to x of z and x of z to x of k. But in case of bilateral, it is not possible. So hence no need to specify ROC. And now what I will do, I will explain it with a couple of examples. You will get the concept of ROC as well. So what I will do, I will take one example which say let x of k equal to 1. Very simple, a standard signal 1. In case of bilateral signal, this becomes u of k or minus u of minus k minus 1. It is either on the left side or on the right side. So in case of causal sequences, it is always right sided. On the left side of the time index, signal is absent. So for right sided signal, the ROC is fixed. But in case of bilateral, the ROC for right sided signal is different, and the ROC of left sided signal is different, and the signal may be even both sided. In that case, the ROC is different. So signal may have multiple ROCs in case of bilateral, but in case of unilateral, there is only one ROC, hence no need to mention. So we will see it here. Now x of z is equal to summation k equal to 0 to infinity x of k z raised to minus k. Now x of k is 1. So this is equal to summation k equal to 0 to infinity z raised to minus k. And now we have, what we have? We have seen this series. We have summation k equal to 0 to infinity a raised to k is equal to 1 upon 1 minus a, when only if mod of a is less than 1. And what happens if mod of a is greater than equal to 1? If mod of k is greater than equal to 1, this series becomes infinity. That means function does not exist. Now let us apply this concept here. So now x of z is equal to, if you compare this with this one, you get a is equal to 1 by z here, and hence it will be 1 upon 1 minus 1 by z with mod of 1 by z less than 1. And if you simplify it, you get this as z upon z minus 1 with what? Now mod z greater than 1. Now if you want to sketch, I want to sketch this ROC. Let me show you the ROC, what exactly the ROC means. This is the z plane, and what I have here, I have a 0 of the pulse transfer function at, or 0 of the z transform at z equal to 0 and pole at z equal to 1. So what I will do, I will make a circle with radius equal to pole. So this is 1. So here I have a pole and here I have 0. Now what is the ROC? Here ROC is mod z greater than 1. Means the magnitude of this z shall be greater than 1. And that means in this case, this outside this unit circle this is ROC. And in case of unilateral signal, what you will get? You will get always ROC will be outside the outermost pole. Now here you have only one pole, z at z equal to 1, but the x of z may have multiple poles. Then in case of unilateral z transform, the ROC is always outside the outermost pole, and that is known. Hence no need to mention the ROC. But in case of bilateral, this ROC may be outside the pole or it may be even inside the pole. And x of k for outside ROC outside the outer pole is different for same x of z, and for the same x of z, if the ROC is inside the pole, innermost pole, x of k is different. And that is why in this case it is compulsory to mention x of z with ROC, which is not required here. So in any case, whenever ROC is not mentioned or it is mentioned as outer part of the outermost pole, then it is, you have to take it as unilateral z transform. So whatever x of k you will get, by default it is for k greater than equal to 0 and its value is 0 for k less than 0. Let us take one more example to clarify the idea. So let x of k is equal to a raised to k. Then x of z will be summation k equal to 0 to infinity, x of k is a raised to k, so a raised to k z raised to minus k, and this is nothing but summation k equal to 0 to infinity a by z raised to k. And no doubt this is nothing but 1 upon 1 minus a by z with mod of a by z less than 1. and that is equal to z upon z minus a with mod z greater than mod a. And now in this case, if I plot this ROC, this is a circle with radius a because the pole is at A. Here I have a pole here and I have a 0 here. So again, mod z greater than mod A is the ROC, and that means so this is A, and that means this radius is A, and the ROC will be this. ROC. Now let us do one more exercise. You know the Laplace transform. You know the starred Laplace transform. We have seen it. And also now we have seen the Z transform. Let us develop interrelation between them. So relation between Laplace transform, starred Laplace transform and Z transform. So we have x of t taken Laplace transform gives me x of s, where x of s is equal to integration. Now I will consider unilateral for all. Unilateral. So this will start from 0 to infinity x of t e raised to minus st dt. This is the Laplace transform. Next I will go for starred Laplace transform. In case of starred Laplace transform, we sample this x of t to x of kt and we take its Laplace transform in the sampled version, and its definition is given as, say, x of kt taken starred Laplace transform gives me x star s, where x star s is equal to summation k equal to 0 to infinity x of kt e raised to minus skt. And how it is obtained? See, in sampling we have seen we can sample by putting small t equal to k capital T. So t is equal to kt. So same thing is done here. See, t is taken as kt. Even here t is taken as kt. And as this has become discrete time signal now, no need to go for integration because this signal is available only at discrete time intervals. So go for summation. So this is a discretized version of the Laplace transform. I will call this as starred Laplace transform. And then what I will do now is a transform. X of k taken z transform gives me x of z. And what is x of z? Summation k equal to 0 to infinity x of k z raised to minus k. And what is this? This is z transform. And now let me compare these two, this one and this one. So can I say that x of z is equal to x star s at z is equal to e raised to st. Just put here z is equal to e raised to st. This e raised to minus skt becomes z raised to minus k. Else is same. This x of k and x of kt are same. Once the sample are obtained for any sampling instant it may be, thereafter we will call it as x of k. So this can be useful, this relation, or even it can be transformed in with some approximation that x of z is equal to x of s with z is equal to e raised to st, and t is equal to kt. That is useful for transforming from s to z directly. Otherwise what happens, if you want to transform from s to z, first you have to take inverse Laplace transform to get x of t, sample it to get x of kt, take a star Laplace to get x star t, and then put it. Correct? So now this relation is purposely developed to get a transformation from s to z directly. Now what I will do, I will give you the z transform pairs for some standard functions. Z transform of standard functions or standard inputs, you can say. So if you have some x of k and then it has some x of z. So let x of k is 1, or let us start with the impulse signal delta k. For delta k, x of z is 1. Then let me take x of k equal to 1, just we have derived it, x of z is z upon z minus 1. Next I will take a raised to k, for that also I have derived, it is z upon z minus a. Next I will take another common factor which always appears, e raised to minus a k t. So just a common of this, just here you can take a as e raised to minus a t, you will get the same. So this will be z upon z minus e raised to minus a t. Then for a ramp function I will get here k, and for that it is z upon z minus 1 square. Then another standard signal is sin akt. For the sin akt, it is z sin at upon z square minus 2z cos at plus 1. How to obtain this? I will discuss it. Here I have given it directly because our purpose is to take review of it and apply it for the control system. So it is z into z minus cos at divided by z square minus 2z cos at plus 1. So these are some standard signals, and how these are obtained, these we have derived classically. Even this can be derived classically. Everything can be derived classically. Here what I can do, sin akt can be expressed as, using Euler identity, you can do it in the form of exponential, complex exponential, and then use this. Same thing can be done for the cos akt, and you will get this. For this k, and even this can be done using some properties. We will see the properties in the next class. How using properties and these tables, it makes it simple to compute a Z transform of some complex signals as well. After doing this, my next thing is I will take some, say, I will call it as Laplace transform to Z transform pair. Laplace transform to Z transform pairs. So here I will have x of s and then x of z. So here I will take only three cases which are always useful. 1 by s has z transform z upon z minus 1. 1 by s square has it z upon, here t also comes, z minus 1 square, and again I will write it here, x of s and x of z. If x of s is 1 upon s plus a, then its z transform is z upon z minus e raised to minus at. These are the commonly appearing signals because the systems are always continuous in time. So their transfer function will have these parameters. A simple pole, pole at origin, double pole at origin. Even you may have double pole at some real value. For that also we can find it. But that can be done using properties as well. So let us not enter into complications. But now let us see how this can be done. Directly. Let us take the example. Let x of s is equal to 1 by s. So x of t, we have a table that x of t will be 1. Laplace of 1 is 1 by s. So what is x of kt then? X of kt is also 1. T is replaced with kt. Then, so x star s now, x star s, what is the definition? It is summation k equal to 0 to infinity x of kt e raised to minus skt. And then using the series, already we have done this while doing it for the transfer function for 0 order hold and first order hold. And it is coming as, say, 1 upon 1 minus e raised to minus st. Then what is x of z? X star s at z is equal to e raised to st. Do it now. Put this as e raised to minus st will be z raised to minus 1. So this is 1 upon 1 minus z raised to minus 1, which is z upon z minus 1. Let us do it for the second one also. So let x of s is equal to 1 by s square. Then what is x of t? X of t is, it will be t, because Laplace of t is 1 by s square. So what is x of kt? It will be kt. Correct. And I have a z transform for k, and t is a constant. So even directly I can get it. So now x of z will be t here, or even we can go by this process. This is also possible. Into z divided by z minus 1 square. See, z upon z minus 1 square is the z transform of k. And then t is a constant, so it is taken out. Same thing you can do for the third function. Let x of s is equal to 1 upon s plus a. Then x of t is what? E raised to minus at. So x of kt is what? E raised to minus akt. And then come here. What is the z transform of it? So x of z is equal to z upon z minus e raised to minus at. It can be done. Direct transformation. We will do this while solving numerical examples in the concept of pulse transfer function. It is enough in this lecture. In the next couple of lectures, we will discuss and even prove the properties of Z transform, which will be useful in solving the Z transform of some complex signal. Let us meet again. Thank you.